Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. We'll give about another 2 minutes. We had over 100 people registered tonight, so we want to make sure we give everybody ample amount of time to log on and get settled and look forward to sharing the information for you guys. All right, looks like we got the majority of people logged on. So first I want to say welcome. My name is Shaka Sutton and I'm the Senior VP of our competitive programs and unified schools programs. I just want to say thank you all for joining us tonight to learn a little bit more about our winter season and what it's going to look like. Tonight, we're going to go over those plans. And one thing we've learned from 2020 is that plans change, they're fluid, but we want to make sure that we're offering as many opportunities in a safe environment for all of our athletes involved and coaches. A common thing you're going to hear tonight from us is that in the upcoming months, it's a challenge. We're going to persevere and we're going to triumph. Challenge. We want to make sure that we're offering opportunities that will challenge all ability levels for all of our athletes. And as we get through these ever changing times, we want to make sure that you guys know that we are with you guys as you guys are going through your practices and you're going into your winter season. And with the hopes that later in this year, we'll be able to see each other in person and back on the field. Before we get into the actual presentation, just a few housekeeping items because our numbers were so high. This is a webinar, so if you have any questions, please feel free to put those in the chat or the Q&A. We have our regional managers, Adrian, Tasha, and Michelle, who'll be monitoring the questions and bringing those to the group as they arise. This presentation is being recorded and will be made available on our website as well as the PowerPoint itself. And we will be getting those out to you guys tomorrow after this call is done. Now I will turn it over to Susan Foge, who is our competition director, and she will get right into our winter sports. And if you, like I said, any questions, please feel free to put those in the chat and we will be monitoring it. Thank you guys.
All right, good evening, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well and that you can see my screen and hear me. I'm gonna just go ahead and continue and kind of get started on what our 2021 season is going to look like. Sorry, if I can, there we go. Okay, so our 2021 winter season, as Shaka mentioned, is really gonna be about challenge, persevere, and triumph. We want our athletes to remember that. We want you guys to remember that. We will remember that throughout the time that we are doing everything that we're doing. All of the, a quick synopsis of what we're going to be doing for the winter season. All our SoCo and COVID guidelines are going to be enforced, including but not limited to. Masks have to be worn at all times when everyone's competing. We're going to be following the sport-specific COVID best practices, which we'll discuss a little bit later. We're always adhering to any facility guidelines. Our practice and competition size of groups will be limited to a maximum of 5. It's going to be 4 athletes and 1 coach. For those of you that do skiing, that is something very similar and very common to what we're used to. Basketball will be included, and we'll cover that in a minute. Additionally, there will be no spectators that will be allowed during practices and events at this time. Okay, it's kind of just a quick overview of that. I'm going to go ahead and get into the basketball season. Our basketball season is going to run from January 17th through March 19th. As you can see, we've had to make some tough decisions based on the health and safety of everybody, and we will only be offering an all-star skills challenge this year. I will cover a little bit of what that looks like in the next slide. And it's not our similar skills competition. Those of you who were with us for flag football, you'll know that we kind of ramped up that a little bit, and we're going to continue. We added that to basketball as well. As far as basketball goes, there will be some competitions parts. There will be some aspects of skills that don't need a basketball. So that's a perk to that as well. Teams, if you do have a team that's wanting to get together, you guys are allowed to practice outside in groups of 10 or less, unless the county restrictions state differently. We know basketball is one of our biggest sports. So we want to make sure we're doing the best we can for all of our teams and athletes. We will be offering at-home kits, which will be a basketball and cones, which will allow athletes to be able to compete in quite a few of these skills that we have laid out, even without a hoop. We are working on setting up weekly interactive virtual practices with some special guests. We are going to look to set up a trick shot contest as well. Finally, we are looking to have an esports tournament. And if you have athletes that are interested in that, please contact Adrian, and his email address is up here. The esports is our video game platform that we've been running with as well. As far as regional events, we will have inter-squad competitions taking place from March 1st to March 12th. So within your team, if you are able to get your team together, you can practice again outside in those smaller groups, and we'll provide ribbons and support as needed for you guys to get through those skills and that event. Okay. All right, as far as our state basketball, we will not be hosting an in-person competition at this point. Those of you that are interested in submitting your scores will need to receive those by March 12th, as well as, so folks can do that individually, or folks can also do that as a team. If your team enters, we will also have a bracketed divisions that we can put you guys in, that will have kind of a head-to-head competition with your scores. So basically we'll set you guys up and then compare people as we go through and bracket everybody out. The scores that you guys turn in on March 12th will be collected and compared to those around the state, and we will, excuse me, announce the awards on the Champion Highlight Show on March 27th. Again, for state basketball, no in-person competition will be happening. Opening ceremonies and our awards pickup will be determined. We are looking to do something a little more fun and a little more basketball related for our awards pickup. So that's kind of the delay on why we have that set up. So please stay tuned for that. And we will be having a victory dance on March 20th, and it will be a Hollywood theme. So the registration link is included here as well. Okay. Were there any questions on basketball before we move on? Looks like Ben Drodar has a question. Do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Sorry, it took me a second to get my unmute. Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yep, you're good.
So you said as of right now, are these plans subject to change based on the circumstances, or is this what we're doing, period?
As far as just offering skills, that's what we're doing, period. If there's somehow we are trying to get our creative juices flowing and figuring out a way, if there's a way where we can have athletes come and compete in the gyms during a certain period, if a team were to come, run through their skills and then leave, that's something we're considering. But currently at this point, with the current restrictions that we're in, we would not be able to do that.
All right, that's fine. Yeah, because I mean, I have a practice facility, but as of right now, we can't be indoors. But that
Right.
could change come, mid-January or what have you. So, all right, cool. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on to what some of our all-star skills are going to look like. There will be a layup drill. The power, we're going to test everyone's power with a vertical jump. We're going to test everyone's endurance with a 30-second endurance jump with the ball. We will test everyone's speed with a sprint. And then you can kind of see the rest of what we'll be doing. There will be a much more detailed presentation coming out with this that will tell you exactly what you'll need to be doing. The items that have the asterisks behind them do not need a basketball to compete. So if it's someone at home that doesn't have a basketball or just doesn't want to get into it, they'd still be able to participate in some of the events as well. Again, basketball coaches, more details will be coming out about this, as well as how to sign up to get your team and or individual kits for our athletes at home. Any questions on basketball? Anything else? Anything in the chat that came through that we want to share with everybody else?
Hey, Susan, there were a couple on the chat, but I'm pretty sure you might have already gone through it, or if you haven't, you will. But a lot of people are asking how to request the kits, who they need to talk to, and if they have to be registered on a team to participate in that.
Great. Those are great questions. We will be sending out a link to you guys in order to request a kit. And then you do not need to be associated with a team. In that link for requesting, you'll be able to either choose if you're requesting for a team or requesting for yourself. It's a great opportunity for athletes that maybe have never done basketball before and want to try something different out, because they will be able to do that at home. So you do not need to be associated with a team in order to participate.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right, we will move on to figure and speed skating. Excuse me. We've got our training period up there from January 3rd to February 19th. Again, just to reiterate, our teams will need to break up into smaller groups. And you also need to keep in mind to follow the facility guidelines as well. If their guidelines are smaller than that on how many folks there can be, then you guys will need to follow that as well. Inter-squad events will take place from January 25th to February 8th. Again, if you're having an event like that, you can request ribbons and support from SoCo, and we'll be happy to provide that for you. For our state competition, our entries will be due February 10th. We will be at February 20th, we'll be at the Apex Ice Arena for our state competition. Our figure and speed skating teams will be in smaller groups of 5. They'll come and compete in their events. That group will leave and allow for the next group to come in. So I know that's going to be a little bit challenging for some of our teams and for some of our skaters, but we really believe that's the safest way that we can make the event work for everybody. Again, these guidelines are all based on what we have, and we also will need to follow the facility guidelines. So as we get closer, we'll be in touch with Apex Ice Arena to figure out what their guidelines are and what we can do better to work with them to make sure the event is safe for everybody. Okay. Any questions on figure and speed skating? All right, moving on to snowshoe and cross country. Our training period will be from January 3rd to February 26th. And please note the dates I'm giving are really just a guideline. Your seasons will probably be set up a little bit differently possibly, but this will be what our general guideline is for the seasons. We'll ask that teams be in smaller groups. Again, that's 4 athletes and 1 coach. Once we get into some of the longer races, for some of you folks that are used to doing the 5K or the 10K or the unified races, we'll touch base on those situations on a one-on-one basis and what that ratio will look like as well, okay? We also want to share that we have an awesome new snowshoe training that'll be online. The link is right here, so you guys will receive this and be able to check it out. It's a really great kind of get started. It's really great for some ideas. We had some great athletes come out to the beach one day, which was really, really fun. And Jenny Montoya made an amazing video for the snowshoe online training. So snowshoe coaches, check that out. If you're new to snowshoeing, if you're looking to pick it up, go ahead and check that out too. It's really a great tool for us to use to go ahead and get started. As far as regional competitions, we'll ask that you host your inter-squad events from February 1st to February 12th. Our state competition at this point will be February 27th at Mueller State Park. Those entries will be due February 12th as well. We are looking to set one up out on the Western Slope, a state event like that. And if teams are not able to make that track, they are also able to submit their scores from their inter-squad events. Mueller State Park, I went on a site visit there with Tasha the other day, and they're really excited to have us, really willing to work with us. And they've got some beautifully untouched snow out there. So it might be a little bit of a different experience this year, but we're hoping that we can get out and get some sort of competition put together for that. Are there any questions on snowshoe and cross country? All right, we will wrap up our sports then with our winter sports with our alpine and snowboarding information. Our training and practices will be from January 3rd to March 3rd. We currently are able to be training at Copper Mountain on Sundays and Wednesdays. For those of you who have not turned in your registration form, please know that those are due on Friday, okay? And I know, as that last bullet point says, many of you guys have questions. So those of you that do have questions about training, please feel free to stay on till at the end, and I'll go ahead and touch base on a few of those details as well, okay? We will ask your teams to break up into pods of 5 for training. This came out of Copper's guidelines that they can only have 10 athletes on the race hill at one time. We figured if we have groups of 5, we'll be able to schedule you guys in a couple of groups to be there, get through your race course as well. So that number is coming down from Copper, and that's the current restrictions that they are in. We also are planning to host a ski clinic, Alpine ski clinic, for any new coaches on December 19th. So please reach out to myself if you're interested in that. If you don't have my email address, just reach out to your regional manager. That's not a problem as well. And we'll go ahead and get you registered and get you all the information for that. Okay. Please note that's going to be a smaller group, which is why we limited that just to new coaches at this point. It will be just for 8 folks so that we can keep within that 10 guideline with our 2 clinicians. And then those clinicians are going to break up as well. Okay. And finally, those of you that have questions on training, which I'm sure many of you do, I do as well. I think we've got most of them answered, but please stay on till the end of the call and we can go ahead and have a conversation about it at that point, okay? Our inter-squad events will be hosted by teams. Those of you that do train at Copper, we will use some of the training days for an inter-squad competition. So we'll be providing ribbons and support at that point. Those of you that ski on your home mountain, please feel free to submit scores, and we will get you guys ribbons as well. Okay, any questions on those items? All right, and now in regards to state, at this time, Copper is not hosting and allowed to host any competitions. They've canceled the Grand Prix and the Dew Tours. So we will not be hosting a state winter games at Copper this year. However, you will be able to submit scores. Those of you that train at Copper, I'll pull your scores. Those of you that are not training at Copper, you guys can submit your entries to me by February 26th, and we will compare everybody's scores around the state, and then you guys will be awarded, all the awards will be announced on the Champion Highlight Show, which I'll touch base on kind of after that. I just felt like it was a good time for us to remember that it's a tough year and we're gonna face some challenges, but we're all gonna persevere through it and come out triumphant on the other end. So I'll just, any questions on any of those events at this point that have come up in the chat or anything? Okay, now moving on to our snow sports and ice, snow and ice sports celebration, our winter, our cold sports as we like to call them. For all of those, scores will be collected and compared with scores around the state. We will have a Champions Highlight Show on March 13th. That'll be the winter sport edition. And we will have highlights from each sport. So coaches that are out there, you guys, many of you have been fantastic about getting us highlights, pictures. That'll be fantastic. We'll be out there being able to get footage as well. And I've got the Dropbox links on the next slide. So that'll be quick and easy for you to do. Speaking of celebrations, what is winter games and what is our winter season unless we're wrapping it up with a victory dance? And we thought, what better way to really wrap up the season than have a disco dance? So we'll be having a disco dance on March 7th. The registration link is below, so you guys can go ahead and share that with your teams. And we'll be sharing that out with you guys quite a bit as well to really push. We know everyone's been working hard. We know that there's many challenges in the winter season, but we also know that we need to take time to celebrate and really, I need everybody to get on some disco costumes and start dancing, because I think it'll really turn the season around. We are still determining items on opening ceremonies and the awards pickup as well. Okay. Here are our Dropbox links for our winter champion highlight show. There you'll see that there's one for basketball as well as one for our snow ice sports. So if you have pictures, you guys can just click on those links and then you'll upload pictures or videos to those links as well. Those of you who might not have been around the last couple of seasons, we have launched, I think it started with our virtual summer games, we launched a champion highlight show. And think of it kind of like a sports center, only in my opinion, it's a little bit better because it's about the Special Olympics athletes of Colorado. So it's a really great piece to watch. We have a guest host of Connor McGahee, who's the announcer for the Avalanche. He's been a fantastic host for us. We have athlete correspondents out in the field doing interviews, as well as announcing the awards for all of our athletes. So it's really a great way when we're not able to be in person to honor our athletes and their achievements. It's a really great way for them to be on TV and have a show in regards to them. All right, before I turn things back over to Shaka, are there any other questions in regards to the sports that maybe I didn't cover or anything that came up in the chat?
Susan, there were a couple, they were answered in the chat, but I'll bring them back up. One was regards to basketball and the COVID restrictions in basketball. It is 10 or less outdoors only. And the next question was if we have any leads or locations or suggestions on places where outdoor courts are available. And we are currently doing some research and trying to compile a list of where those locations can be. Some suggestions that I may have for people may be some churches have lighted half court basketball, some of your bigger churches. Some of your schools, like elementary and middle schools, not so much high schools, may also have those locations that are outdoors. So you may be able to tap in and reach out to some of those. Next question, Bob. The 10 is all people, so it does count for all, including coaches. All right, I think that is it. There are some Alpine related questions, and Susan, I think if we want to address those at the end of the call, then we can do that.
Yep, I think that'll be perfect.
Okay. All right, moving on. Like I said earlier in the call, we want to be able to make sure we can provide not just a sports outlet, but also some health related outlets and some physical fitness related outlets for our athletes as well. So those of you who are familiar with our Healthy Athletes program, it's typically revolved around a state event or large scale event. Over the past 9 months, our health team has kind of reinvented and thought about some new ideas and ways that we can bring healthy athletes to you. So what we will be looking at doing is having our clinical directors come to some of your practices and be able to offer screenings at practices. Some of those we may include some physical therapy opportunities, some social emotional counseling opportunities, and our dentistry opportunities. And they'll bring this personalized forum straight to your practices. So Susan, could you go to the next slide for me? All right. This will be starting up in January. So what we're looking for are teams to volunteer and to sign up. Leah Combs, who's our senior health manager, will be handling this. And this is new to us and it'll be new to you. So it's something that we really want to see if this opportunity takes off and if our athletes and you guys as coaches truly like this, and ways that we can keep our clinical directors engaged and bringing that opportunity directly to you guys. So there will be more information for that will be shared later in this month, and we'll be starting signups in early January for that. Next thing we have is our fitness captains. Once again, we are looking for more fitness captains. Those of you who are familiar with our fitness captains program, you may have some on your team, but our fitness captains are athletes who are trained as fitness leaders on their teams, and they lead all of the fitness aspects of the practice. And it's a way for our athletes to be true leaders on the team, but also a way for them to serve as kind of assistant coaches as a matter of speaking. They can take some of that off of the coaches and serve in those leadership roles. This year, the fitness captain age has been moved down to 16 to where we can get a lot of our school age leaders involved and some of your teams who may have those leaders who are stepping up and really into physical fitness who are 16 years of age. So it's a way to get those involved. It's a simple way that you can nominate. You can send an email to our SoCo fitness captain at specialolympicsco.org with the athlete's name, contact information, preferably email and phone number, and the team they're on and the sports that they play, as well as a brief reason why you're nominating them. And from that point, our fitness captain leaders will get back in touch and they can go through the training and become a fitness captain. Susan, next slide for me, please. Just to follow up to fitness captains, we will have an upcoming trainings in January. Fitness captains only need to attend one training. So you'll see when this is rolled out, there'll be a number of trainings, opportunities that they can attend, but all they need to do is complete one of those trainings, and then they can be placed on their team as a fitness captain. Once they are fitness captain, they will receive ongoing training opportunities, ongoing material, ongoing resources that they can spread out there and grow their fitness captain opportunities. All right, next upcoming thing we have in 2021 is our wellness challenges. We have a number of those coming up. Each challenge will be 6 to 8 weeks. One to start out the challenges of the year, we will be kicking off our winter season with what we call New Year, New You virtual fitness challenge, and that will start the second week of January and go through the end of February. And we will be following that up with a March Madness Fitness Challenge, which will start in March and go through April. So those are two of the fitness challenges that will be kicking off, but we will have lots of them going on throughout the year. One of the positives that came out of COVID is that we have created a lot of virtual material, a lot of virtual resources that you can do in the comfort of your own home. So I would challenge all of you to check our website repeatedly, go to our website. There's always new resources on there that you can use either at your practices or either that you can have your teams do at home in the comfort of their own home. This is our New Year, New You. This challenge will focus on fitness and wellness, goal setting, attainment. We will have opportunities for our families of young athletes also. They'll participate in this. It is open to the first 50 athletes to register. Will receive a Fit You kit to enhance their participation. The Fit You kit will have some fun things that you can use throughout this fitness challenge. The links are in here. Once again, you can go to our website and also find this information as well. Some other exciting upcoming opportunities that we have for all in this year. We have our 2021 Family Health Forum that will take place on January 26th. Stephanie Levine will be in charge of that. We will have special guest speakers. Her name is Terry Cohenhoven. She's the host of a television show, Born This Way. She has a website that you can go and check up on her. The focus of this will be on healthy relationships and understanding boundaries, which is something that we think that everybody can benefit from this. So that'll be something that we'll be rolling out in 2021. We're currently working to finalize our 2021 through 2025 SoCo strategic plan. You guys can look for that as we look for feedback from the field, from coaches, from athletes, families, and volunteers to get feedback on our strategic plan. You can also look for more information on our 2021 spring and summer season updates. Even though we're going into the winter, we are still working on a multitude of plans to see how we can offer a safe experience in the spring and summer for you guys as well. So you can look for more information on that towards the end of February. On our website, we updated today, you can find our 2021 winter sports COVID best practices for all of our winter sports. So we went through all of our winter sports like we did in the past, in the fall and in the summer before that, and put some best practices in place for each of the sports. That way you can feel a little bit more comfortable when you're going out and practicing and following some of those best practice guidelines. Those of you who are looking for medical help or having issues filling out medical applications, just want to let you guys know that our help desk is still available and always available. And you can email our medical team, medical@specialolympicsco.org. They will be more than happy to walk you through the application process as it goes. And a added thing about the application this year, we have been 2 years of trying to go paperless. We are finally at the point on January 1 where we will be paperless and all of our medicals will be online. If you or a family member or an athlete or somebody needs more help with that, once again, just go to our help desk and they'll walk you through the whole medical process and make that as easy as possible for you guys. And finally, if anybody needs certificates of insurance for the entire year for the upcoming winter, if you can get those to your regional manager by January the 15th, and we'll try and get those out to you as soon as possible so you don't have to worry about those as the year goes by. Knowing that, yes, this isn't a drop dead date, and I know that there'll be others as the year goes on, but if you have those set practice facilities that you use all year round or that you use at a specific time of the year and you already know what those are, please get those into your regional managers and we can get that off your plate, and that's one less thing you'll have to worry about. All right. I'm going to pause there to see if there's any questions that you guys may have before we move on to the one last portion of the meeting. All right. Awesome. I still want to give one more plug to our website. So our website team has done a great job of providing as many resources that we have onto our website to make them so easy to find. So if you guys are looking for basketball training videos, those are online that you can easily go to, find them. And we have drills, same thing for all of our sports. So it's easily accessible. You can find it there and you can use them at your practices. It's also a great way that if you want to do some homework or if you can't practice or see your athletes in person over a long period of time, it's a great place that you can put a training plan in place just by using the resources that we have online. So I would challenge you guys to go there for the latest and greatest information that we have Special Olympics related. And now I will turn it over to our President and CEO, Megan Scrimmen, who wants to say a few words of thank you and just talk a little bit about the past year and kind of some highlights and what it's meant to us as an organization to make sure that we're offering you guys any opportunities that we can. So Megan, I'll turn it over to you.
Hi. Thanks, Shaka. Thanks, Susan. And thank you all. I really, really appreciate it. As Shaka said, I have the fun part of just thanking you very, very much for your patience, your flexibility. I do want to give another shout out to Shaka and Susan and Adrian and Tasha and Michelle and the entire team for really working so hard on these winter plans. I think these plans may be pleasing to some and disappointing to others. I personally am very excited that we are able to offer something. And I think we as a team have been so committed to ensuring that we can offer and are offering as many different opportunities to our athletes, our coaches, our families to get involved as possible. And so hopefully you'll see that in the winter plans. We're excited to have something, and we'll celebrate our athletes and our coaches and all of your accomplishments and achievements over the winter season. So I hope everybody participates. If you're new, have not played basketball before, try it. There's no better time. I've also been really excited at all the opportunities that have come up this year. As Shaka mentioned, we have all had to pivot and try new things. And I think the entire team has been really innovative and creative and trying new wellness programming and virtual programming. We played bingo and trivia. And so one, I encourage you all to get involved. If you haven't joined us for any of those virtual wellness retreats or bingo or any of those, please join us. The other thing I would just remind is that we are learning as we go, and there are no better teachers out there than our coaches and our athletes. And so if something is not working, if you have an idea, please send it our way, because we want to hear from you. We want to get better and grow and learn. So please send that to us. I, again, really appreciate it. If anybody has any questions, continue to put them in the chat and we will get them answered. Actually, I see some, although I think they've been answered. Oh, great job, Bella. With that, I think we'll start the video. So thank you all so much for everything. We appreciate it. And this is a great video made by our team here, celebrating our coaches. I think we can reshare.
Yep, sorry about that. You'd think I'd figure this out by now, right?
There's always more to learn. Thanks, Susan.
Okay, I'll start that over again.
My coach is a real inspiration to me and a good role model.
The coach has taught me when you're down to never give up. My coach is my mentor and my friend.
Thank you for the coach. Thank you to all of the Special Olympic Colorado coaches.
Thank you, coaches.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. If you guys have, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to stay on and we'll try our best to answer any questions that we didn't answer in the presentation. But those of you that may not have any questions, feel free to jump off and enjoy your evening. Once again, this presentation will be available on our website, and we will also coach, or the regional managers will email it out to you guys as well, so you'll have it. So thank you guys, and good luck in the winter season, and also have a happy holiday.
Thank you all very much.
Stephen Williams, your hand has been up. I think you may have had a question. Diane, you can go ahead and ask your question if you can unmute yourself though.
Got it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to figure out how the Alpine scoring will be done. If each time the athletes run the course, will they be timed and then the best times for each event are submitted, or how does that work?
We're probably what we'll probably do, Diane, at this point. I know the first few weeks we might not have timing set up. So what we'll probably do is take an average of them. We might just keep a running total of them and take an average of the scores. We also we're debating between that and the mid-season race. I feel like for skiing, it's nice to take an average just because, you know, we have that capability to do that with these folks. So I think that's what we're leaning towards at this point.
Okay, because we have some athletes that are having problems with it being Sunday now instead of Saturday. And I didn't know if there might be certain dates where the scores would count and we could try to encourage them to be there on those days. They got to miss church. I mean, that's the deal. If there would be certain dates where races would count, or if it's just all the whole 8 weeks, or how we do that.
Yeah, you know, especially with that change, we'll be flexible, and I don't think at this point we'll require people to be at a certain day for the event.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Hey, Susan.
Mhm.
I just got back from Copper work and talking to some of the Team Summit kids today, and they're having a wonderful time with their training. They've already been training for 36 days now with very little problems, as long as we adhere to the rules on lift rides up and meeting right at the race hill on the scheduled time. And they had, one of my grandsons got pulled off because a friend of his, because they do contact tracing. One of his friends was tested positive for COVID. So he was held out for 5 days till he got 2 negative tests, which today he could go back racing. So I think Copper's going to be great. And we're going to be able to set those 2 identical courses up throughout the year. They're going to be pretty much identical every day with the same number of gates. And then, like I said, we're going to have a slalom course and a GS course set up every day. And we'll start timing after the second week of training. And then we'll give you every single time from every run throughout the
Yeah,
year.
I think that'll be great. I think it sounds like Copper has some really great systems in place to keep everyone safe, which is what
Yeah.
all of our priority is. So I'm happy to hear that you got to see it firsthand and work to that extent. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it works out good as long as we'll sit down and talk about a scheduling for teams to come up at a certain time to a certain course so that we don't get more than 7 or 8 people at the start, and then they'll be spread out anyhow. So
Yeah, no, I think that'll be great.
so I think that'll be fine. And I do want to thank Megan and you and Shaka for all your work to keep Alpine running this year. So it's a great privilege and I'm excited for it. So we can take care of any obstacle that comes our way.
Thanks, Steve.
Good. I think as long as the lifts stay open, we'll be good to go. But thank you.
Yeah.
We couldn't do it without you guys too. So I would echo that same sentiment to you, is that we appreciate everything that you and your crew do as well.
Well, thank you. So that's all I had. So we'll get with you this next week and work out. I've got some ideas for working out logistics for each coaches. So I will give you a call. Thanks.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you, Steve. Looks like Karen asked if there'll be a sign up for training times. If you have a specific time, you can go ahead and share that with me. I'll do my best to accommodate the request as best I can. And we'll probably try to keep the same time. We'll probably try to keep the same time each week just to keep it consistent for the athletes and the volunteers as well.
Any other questions, anyone? Well, with that, we will end the call. Once again, thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do. We truly appreciate it, and you guys make our job easy. And hopefully, we can at least make your role as a volunteer enjoyable. So, thank you guys, and have a great evening.
You too. Thank you.
Susan, there's one more question on here. Kent Willis had a question about parking at Copper. I think he may still be on it if you.
Yeah, so any Alpine coaches that are still on the call that have not turned in your form for me, if you were not able to make parking reservations, please note how many spaces you would need. If I didn't hear from you guys on it, don't worry, I'll reach back out to you guys once we, as we get a little bit closer. But Copper is willing to work with us to try to have a place for us to park. I just need to know how many places we're looking at. So those of you that are able to go on Wednesdays, I would say hop on there now and reserve your parking spaces. It looked like Wednesdays were pretty free, but I know that some of the Sundays had filled up. So please just note what days you would need parking for and how many spaces you would need so that I can work on making that happen. And then
And
I'll reach back out to coaches.
Susan, for Team Summit, they give them a code. I don't know if Copper will do that for our race kids or coaches and athletes.
Yeah, that I'm not sure about. I'll have to follow up on that. But I did hear from Kat today that they're willing to work with us to get us some of those spaces. She also mentioned that as they open up Anchorage, acreage, that there'll be more parking spaces available as well. And so they open that up on Mondays. So if you don't have a space, you can go ahead and start checking for that. But again, if you're not able to get those and it's just booked up, let me know and we'll make sure that we get those spaces reserved and squared away. Judy, it looks like you guys just joined. Yes, we will send out the recording. We're going to gather up some notes and a little bit of feedback. We'll send out the PowerPoint as well as the recording of the call.
Susan, it looks like there's another question in the chat about transportation for snow sports.
I didn't see it, but do you want to go ahead and share it?
Sure. So Neil Charles is asking if there's transport for the snow sports or if everyone is on their own.
We will not be able to offer transportation this year, unfortunately, for the snow sports out to the mountain. Just wasn't going to work out with the restrictions both at Copper as well as on a bus, basically. So unfortunately, that will not be happening this year. But that is not, we will bring it back as soon as we are able to. Don't worry. We'll make it happen. Anybody have any other questions?
Susan, it looks like Judy's asking if we have a feeling for how many athletes might not be able to participate this year because of not having buses.
I haven't heard anything directly, especially from our Alpine coaches. I haven't really heard anything directly from them. So I'm sure there are some that aren't going to be able to do it. I know some folks were getting creative with how they were getting out to the mountain and carpooling and those kinds of pieces. But I haven't heard anything specifically.
Great. All right, guys. You guys have a good evening and take care.
Those of you guys that are still on, do any of you guys have questions? I'm just looking through and noticing some of you guys are Alpine guys. Do any of you guys have questions on any of the trainings or any of those pieces? If so, you can go ahead and unmute yourself if you wanted to.
Susan, this is Jack Thurkelson. Can you hear me?
Yep. Hi, Jack.
Hey, and just wondering if there's anything been resolved, any of the parking issues at Copper. Is there anything new on that I haven't seen yet?
No, so I just shared that every Monday they open up more spaces depending on how many acres they have open. So I would encourage you guys to check back and make reservations as you can. However, if you're not able to do that when you submit your your lift ticket request to me, just note on there how many cars you guys will be bringing up and how many spaces you'll need, and then I'll work with Copper to make sure that we have spaces.
Okay. Do you anticipate problems on Wednesdays at this point or primarily Sundays?
Yeah, when I hopped on to look, it looked like most Wednesdays were still pretty open. It seemed like the Sundays were just booking up.
Okay. All right. Great. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, if there's no further questions, I am going to end the call and end the recording. So you guys have a good night.